Britannia that we want you in the Britannian Mining Company.
Indeed.
And whatever you're doing, don't
greetings,
be screaming
everybody.
in the background to avoid feedback issues.
This is Laz with NBNN, and we're here
Commercial.
live with the debate from BMC headquarters. Welcome everybody to the debate. We are live on NBNN. We have, I want to say, about 40 plus people in attendance here in Mumble. Can we get a count on that, please?
Yeah, one more.
54.
54 in attendance.
For the record, we have 54 in attendance live here in the room in Mumble with us, as well as live here in front of the podium. We will now have introductions from Duke Ezekiel Cooper. Duke, would you please?
Good evening, Guild. Welcome to the first ever, and as far as we know, an historical record of any MMO, and certainly the first time ever in Shroud of the Avatar, the first time real-life debate for a political office inside the Britannian Mining Company. The nominees have been posted, the candidates have been selected, and at this time, the first candidate that I would like to introduce to the Guild is Mr. Jack Frost. Sir, if you will, please pick a podium, and congratulations and good luck, sir.
Thank you.
The second candidate that I would like to introduce to the Guild for the office of Speaker of the House inside the legislative branch in the government body of the Britannian Mining Company is Mr. Drake Adis. Sir, if you would, please come to the stage and pick a podium, sir. Congratulations and good luck this evening, sir. The third candidate that I would like to introduce to the Guild is Mr. Brickbat. Sir, if you would, please come to the stage, choose a podium, and congratulations and good luck this evening, sir. And the fourth and final candidate for the position of Speaker of the House inside the Britannian Mining Company would be Mr. Kendrick Darrow. Sir, if you would, please come forward to the stage, choose a podium. Congratulations and good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Guild, I will now turn this event over to Lazarus of NBNN, where he will be taking questions that have been posted on our member forum, and he will be taking the candidates through their course on their way to the office that they seek. Sir, if you will.
Alrighty, and welcome everybody. Welcome candidates. Kendrick, if you would do the honors, thank you. Okay. We are going to start off. I'm going to give each candidate, and all the questions that we ask tonight are going to be posed to each candidate individually, and each will have set a lot amount of time to answer said questions. Do the candidates understand this format?
Yes. Indeed.
Yes.
Alrighty.
If I could interject for just a moment, BMC officers that are up here on the stage, if you would, please get up and depart the stage, go out into the general audience, please.
Alright, to get started, we're going to give each candidate 1 minute to tell us about themselves and why they are running for this office. We are going to start from what would be my left, and we're going to start with Jack Frost. And the question is, why are you running for this office?
I am Jack Frost. I am the current Deputy Speaker of the House. I see the legislative branch as the branch that can actually help the guild grow and grow in a responsible manner by creating laws and legislation in order to do that. I see several changes to the guild charter that need to take place in order to facilitate that, as well as to prevent some of the drama that has occurred. I'm currently unemployed. I was a high school English teacher until I resigned my position while I was on vacation.
15 seconds.
I think I'll go ahead and give up the rest of my time.
Alrighty. And we will move on to Drake Adeus. 1 minute. Tell us why you are running for this office and a little about yourself.
Greetings, guild members of the Britannian Mining Company. My name is Drake Adeus. I am running for Speaker of the House because I believe that the legislative branch needs to be an active participant in the structure of the leadership of this guild. I believe that there is plenty of work that needs to be done to codify what we do here in Shroud of the Avatar, as well as to help the founding documents of the Britannian Mining Company expand into the capabilities of the large guild that we have become, as opposed to the smaller guild that it was brought over from Ultima Online. I've been with the Britannian Mining Company for the last 7 months or so. A little bit of experience in the executive branch with emissary work, bringing in new players. And I've got all-around experience working with diverse organizations and bringing in teams of people to work together with minimal oversight in order to accomplish a common goal.
Okay, and time. And just a little over there. Let's try and keep with that. Our next candidate up for the question, Kendrick Darrow. Again, the question is, why are you running for this office? And then a little about yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to make a small statement. Dear Mr. President, Chair and members, I have such a high caliber group of BMC members standing beside me today for office that I have absolutely no doubt any one of them could do the job admirably. I have therefore decided to put my personal ambition aside for the good of the guild and will withdraw my nomination for the position of Speaker of the House. Make no mistake, I will continue to work tirelessly in the current position as the guild emissary and advertising agent to further the best interests of the guild and its members. I commit this statement to the House.
Okie dokie. And Kendrick Darrow takes his moment and bows out of the race right here. Quite the unexpected predicament. Okay, and on that note, I am going to ask that Brickbat, if you would please go ahead and slide over and occupy the podium that Kendrick just vacated. And thank you, sir. Kendrick, thank you very much for that.
Thanks for the opportunity to run.
And thank you for your time up there in the podium today. Question to Brickbat, same as the others. Why are you running for this office? And a little bit about yourself. 1 minute.
Howdy, my name is Brickbat. I've been in the BMC for 10 years. I've seen it all, done most of it at one point or another. I believe in representative government, a government by the people for the betterment of people. And that government gives a body of people the best chance to achieve their goals and survive their days in these wicked lands. The charter of the BMC is not perfect. No document is perfect. And adaptation to the circumstances of the world around us is the only way to keep our governance agile, fresh, and fair on every level. I hope to revitalize the representative government here in BMC, giving every player an outlet for their ideas, thoughts, and concerns. As just one branch of the BMC, I'm committed to working with the other branches to ensure that we maintain the character as a living representation, the charter as a living representation of the rules, procedures, and process we allow our guild to stand out. That said, I've never been afraid to speak my mind, but I'm usually right in my expression of those opinions and respectful of the views of others.
I'm sorry, your speech was going a little over the 1 minute there, Brickbat. To keep this moving along, we must keep everybody on equal time here. Alrighty. And I'm going to go ahead with the next question I had in line. I was going to change them, but and this will actually give Brickbat a chance, maybe. I don't know. Next question on the list, and I'm going to now start with Brickbat and work my way back. What do you feel qualifies you for this position?
I believe my experience in the BMC, the things I've seen, the things I've been involved in, the gaming that I've done speaks for itself. I do my best in every aspect, whether it be crafting, going out and adventuring in the world, and I do my best to help others. And I believe, as Speaker of the House, that is a vital characteristic.
Alrighty, you have 30 seconds if there's anything else you'd like to add.
Sure. I want to say that each of the candidates up here and those that have chosen to withdraw are examples of the best and brightest that fill our ranks, and I will do my best to support whomever is chosen, although of course I hope it is myself. Thank you.
Very good, very good. Alrighty, and back now to Drake Adis. Drake Adis, same question. 1 minute. What do you feel qualifies you for this position?
I have a lot of experience in trying to help create a compromise of opinions among different people and different organizations. I like to think that that part of what would make me a good Speaker of the House is the passion that I have, not only for the BMC, the Guild itself, and for the Charter, but also for Shroud of the Avatar, the foundation framework that we're creating our community within. Of course, I want to do my best to strengthen the roles of all three branches of government within the Britannia Mining Company. And the first place to do that is by taking a hard look at the Charter itself and giving all of our members the opportunity to have representatives that they can go to, that they can express their ideas to for changes and updates to that Charter.
Thank you very much. And lastly, Mr. Jack Frost, same question, 1 minute. What do you feel qualifies you for this position?
The positions I've had in the real world are very diverse. I was originally network and system administrator. Actually, first job was back in programming, but in education, it was all about managing classroom, managing expectations, making sure that there are clear goals, clear voices that allows people to express themselves, as well as making sure that you create an environment that is comforting and welcoming to all. Now, within the BMC, the position that I currently reside in is pretty essentially a neutered position that doesn't allow me to participate in officers meeting nor actually voice anything because I'm not allowed to see laws. So that does provide opportunities for certain things to be changed within the Charter, as well as making sure that the Guild moves forward. And I'm probably almost out of time.
And you are right on the nose.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thank you, gentlemen. And we are going to move on. The next question is a simple question, and I hope it's not going to involve more than the 30 seconds I'm going to give all of you. It should not take any longer than that, but the question has been posed by most of these questions actually have been posed by the guild members themselves, just so everybody does know. And we're going to start now with Drake. Drake has not had a chance to start off a round. Question to you, Drake, and it's just a quick 30 seconds. Have you held any positions in the guild inside of the BMC, and what is your current status at this time?
I spent some time as a guild emissary, welcoming new members and recruiting those folks that are interested. As far as my position at this time, I know that the executive branch is trimming back right now because we had an overabundance of officers. But I think that about covers it.
Alrighty. And next, we'll ask Brickbat the same question. Have you held any positions in the guild? And what is your current status at this time?
In Shroud, I was an emissary for 5 days. That didn't work out. Not exactly my style of gameplay, hunting new members. I truly appreciate the efforts of those folks, but that's not the style I enjoy playing. I'm currently a purchasing agent, out and about, seeing what's going on in the economic world and feeding that information to Jaren and Onyx.
Thank you very much. And Jack Frost, same question. Have you held any position in the guild, and what is your current status at this time?
So far, I am the first and only Deputy Speaker of the House. I've been in this position since January. That position has allowed me to actually draft the only 2 changes to the charter that were sanctioned. That is, and currently I've been playing the game a lot. I'm also one of the primary streamers for the game. I am on Twitch. I am Cynicist, and other than that, I'm
and time.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to get a little deeper in here. And with this this question, we're going to give the candidates up to 2 minutes. And we're going to come back and we're going to start with Jack Frost on this one. Question is, what do you think needs to be changed within the guild as it exists today, if anything? 2 minutes.
One of the things that I would like to see changed is that there are a few problems with the guild charter. One is that a person in my position, as well as the equivalent in the judicial branch, is actually unable to actually view laws until they're in the charter. So the charter needs to be changed to reflect that we should be able to actually view and provide input into the legislative process as far as creating laws. The second thing is I would actually advocate for there to be 2 additional officers from the legislative and the judicial branch. This way we don't run into a situation that we had before, where if the only officer from the legislative or judicial branch is not at an officers meeting, there is no idea what happens within the officers meetings for those other branches. As far as other changes that need to come about is we need to look at some of the growing pains that we've had in the guild and find ways to actually provide outlets for resolution. And the only way to do that is to be participants within the officers' meetings. That way we can actually examine what laws need to be put in place, as well as how to best serve the guild.
Alrighty. You still have a little bit more time, or are you done?
I think I'll resend the rest of it.
Okie doke. Okay, Drake Adis. You're going to have 2 minutes on this topic. Question is, again, what do you think needs to be changed within the guild as it exists today, if anything?
All right, so Jack Frost and I have spoken just as simply guild members with each other. And I agree primarily with what he said as well. We do need to make sure that the other branches, legislative and judicial, have an ear in leadership on what's going on, even when someone's not available that's heading up that branch. I would also, of course, like to add that there's always opportunities to review the charter and make changes where necessary. Like I said in my introduction, we are a growing guild, and does not look like there's ever going to be any breaks on that, which is a very exciting thing for the community that we're in. As far as specific changes now, having reviewed the charter a couple of times, we do have some anachronisms that could be updated. I would like to start in places where we define the military presence of the BMC. We have some holdovers from the UO days, and I think that we have an opportunity to expand the way that our military is defined, and perhaps give an opportunity to have that defined in places other than only the executive branch portions of the charter, since we already have an article delineating military presence. Of course, we want to have representatives out there in the guild, get the positions filled, and take every opportunity we can to get feedback from our members on a regular basis so that we can present that to the judicial and executive branches as changes to the charter and law. And I'll take that as time.
Okay, thank you. And moving on over to Brickbat. Same question, same time. What do you think needs to be changed within the guild as it exists today, if anything?
I agree with Jack and Adis about their concerns about the structure of the charter. There's certainly room for improvement. The other thing I would like to see is representative government, as far as each member would have designated representatives of their choice. We have a pool of representatives, and those representatives would help set the agenda for the guild, and that agenda, as decided by the members, as communicated from the membership via the legislative branch, would be communicated to the executive branch, and decisions made, and the executive branch execute those ideas. That's what I would like to see, a mechanism for that from the membership in the charter via our branch. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Alrighty. Alrighty, thank you, gentlemen. Okay, now we're going to come on to the next question. And this is a little interesting question from one of our members. And of course, this is going to reflect in-game only. And I'm just going to say that and reiterate that for our members up here, up on the podium. This is in-game only. When it comes to guild business, and we're going to start with Jack on this, do you consider yourself a conservative or a liberal? And why do you take this outlook on the guild only?
As far as guild business, I'm conservative because I have a vested interest in the financial success of the guild. I currently own 2 player-owned towns. I'm also investing in 2 others. And so I do not want... I want to make sure that the guild is able to succeed. And then from there, it's like I don't really see a liberal perspective that I can actually see from there in my position.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to go to Drake Adis. Same question coming up.
Same question.
When it comes to guild business, and guild business only, do you consider yourself a conservative or liberal? And why do you have that stance? Guild business only.
So that's a difficult question.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'll take this as best as I can. The same as Jack Frost, of course. I have a vested interest. I've invested in 2 player-owned crossroads that we have here in the guild, and we want to see those mature. Of course, we also want to be the best mercantile guild in Shroud of the Avatar. So the documents that we draft and the resolution, we want that to be binding so that we can be an economic powerhouse, as it's been referred to. However, I also believe that the charter provides a framework as far as what we expect from the guild itself, and that the actions of our members should be able to be fluid so long as they don't bump into pre-established guidelines that we've put down.
And that's time on that. So a minute.
Independent.
Okay, Brickbat, same question. When it comes to guild business, and guild business only, do you consider yourself a conservative or liberal, and why do you take that stance?
Well, I'm financially conservative, but in general I'm progressive because I want to see positive changes for the betterment of the guild. If that's at the expense of vested interest, fine. But I'm not tree-hugging liberal. I go chop down trees. So, hope I've answered the question. That's all I have.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Okay, next question. Okay, this was an interesting question by one of our guild members, of course. I'm going to actually start this one with a brickbat. Pick one situation that a new member might find themselves in and give a brief description of how this legislative process would resolve it from start to finish. 2 minutes.
Well, I could see a new member potentially not understanding the rules as far as our intentions to set prices. I could certainly see a new member not understanding that, and currently the charter gives no mechanism to do that. It's in there that there's a representative that can call a general assembly, but it doesn't delineate what that assembly is empowered to do, what it sets, and there's certainly the charter needs to be updated to reflect our intentions in that area. So for a new member with the legislative branch, I would foresee our representatives being both information sources and passing on questions and voicing the general membership's opinions up to the executive branch.
have time if you wish.
Well, so basically, representative branch goal is to represent the membership, both informing the membership, discussing things with them, passing their concerns on up, and like the example I gave, the guild charter certainly needs to be updated to reflect that. And in my opinion, that should come from the legislature. It should not originate from the other branches. The other branches should be executing and or verifying that a law makes sense and is legal, etc. And then, of course, the executive branch executing that law.
Very good. End time. Drake Adis, I'm sorry. I haven't done that in a long time. Drake Adis. Same question. Pick one situation that a new member might find themselves in and give a brief description of how the legislative process would resolve it from start to finish. 2 minutes.
The legislative process simply defines the path for our new members. So a situation that might occur would be if a new member found themselves. Well, let me start over just a little bit. There are very few binding laws on our guild members. The ones that we do have ensure that gameplay should be enjoyable, and we do need to expand on those just a little bit. For instance, we have a law that ensures that none of our members are using any sort of hate speech or actions on other members within the guild. What the legislative process has already defined is a pathway for our members to seek out representation and recourse with the judicial branch in filing charges against somebody that they feel has infringed on their gameplay in this way. Like I said, there is growing pains. We are a larger guild now, so there will be better definitions of the expected behaviors of our guild members. But I feel like we have such a flexible system right now that any single issue that a guild member might bring up and approach either a representative in a two-way dialogue or a member of the judicial branch will be able to quickly find resolve with the framework that we already have existing. And I'll give my time.
And that is time. And now Jack Frost. Same question. Pick one situation that a new member might find themselves in and give a brief description of how the legislative process would resolve it from start to finish.
One way that the legislative process would actually help a new member is if another member is besmirching them in some way that's insulting, so making racist comments, which is the law that I ended up writing, or homophobic comments, that goes through the judicial process to where you make a claim and then you go to court, and then from there the judicial branch is the ones that are responsible for creating the punishment. It is not the legislative branch's responsibility. We just create the laws that create the expected behaviors for solid, good, well-rounded guild members. So we have rules that we're not allowed to PK anyone, and if that is found, we can investigate that. We do have means to do that. We shall also not spend all of our time recruiting unless we're instructed by someone else, and so we end up having to figure out what our role is within the guild, and that is done through guild law.
And if you're done, just let me know that.
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, this is a lengthy question, and I'm going to give up to 3 minutes on this one, because this one is going to take a little while, so I want you all to listen to the question very carefully. And again, try and just keep the question in mind. Coming from the guild members. Recently, the extent of the upcoming General Assembly has been questioned. Do you feel that the prices agreed upon should cover the vendor prices for all members everywhere, members selling in BMC sponsored towns, just in Black Rock Cove, or something completely different? And we're going to start this one with Drake Adis, and you have 3 minutes, sir.
All right, first off the bat, so I am a great supporter of what we're attempting to do with our first Shroud of the Avatar General Assembly. Obviously, we are going to be doing our best to set fair prices for both our merchants and our customers. We are putting a lot of effort
Did we lose Drake?
Sounds like it.
He might have crashed. I can't tell.
Alrighty, we will give him a minute right here.
He did. The members went down to 47.
Okay, we will move on. Where's that? Him who just came back in.
It's him getting disconnected finally.
Okay. Alright, we will move on to Brickbat then, with his drop, and we will come back to him as soon as he reconnects here. Okay, Brickbat. I'll repeat the question one more time for you. And the question again is, recently, the extent of the upcoming General Assembly has been questioned. Do you feel that the prices agreed upon should cover the vendor prices for all members everywhere, members selling in BMC sponsored towns, just in Black Rock Cove, or something completely different?
Well, I believe that setting the prices at the General Assembly should be all members everywhere in the game. For public vendor sales, private vendor sales, if you're selling one-on-one between folks individually, you can charge whatever you want. That's how I would approach it. If someone wants to offer you more than the price and you're making a private transaction, I have no problem with that. I would think that it should be private public vendors anywhere in the world. Now, how do you police that? Pretty difficult, but that said, that's what I think the policy should be. I saw this exact thing work in Ultima Online, and it works well. By setting the price, it absolutely affects the economy. It absolutely gives our customers assurance that they can come to us for a fairly priced product, and we're going to supply them to supply their demand. So I've seen it work. It works. And that's all I have.
Alrighty, thank you, Brickbat. Alrighty, I see Drake is reconnected back. Is that correct? Can we verify that on voice?
That is correct. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Okay.
All right. I'm not sure if
I'm going to just come back to you with the question again, and we will give you a chance to address the full question again since you were cut off. And recently, the extent of the upcoming General Assembly has been questioned. Do you feel that the prices agreed upon should cover the vendor prices for all members everywhere, members selling in BMC-sponsored towns, just in Black Rock Cove, or something completely different?
So I'm not exactly sure where I got cut off. Thank you, internet connection. But as I was saying, we are putting in a tremendous amount of effort to make the General Assembly a success. And we're trying to involve our entire guild membership and portions of our community as well to speak with our membership. With that being said, I support our sanctioned prices in all of our merchants' endeavors, no matter where they are, in Novia, in New Britannia. And I say that because we provide so much flexibility in our what we sell on our vendors, that if somebody finds himself in a position where they think that the value of goods that they might need to sell at sanctioned prices is higher, that they can always use those goods to craft higher production items, I should say, to turn those into a resource for players that they're dealing with. I do think that if a member has a quantity of items they would wish to sell for less than what we would set in a General Assembly, that they would bring that to any representative within the guild to offer first come, first serve in purchasing their items for below sanctioned prices. I think this is a great idea because, as Brickbat said, we're providing a service to the community, stabilizing prices in a very volatile environment, but also having the flexibility that at any point in time we can call another General Assembly and update those prices for the good of our customers out in the community and for our merchant members in the guild. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Drake Hadis. And we move on to Jack Frost. Jack, the same question. Recently, the extent of the upcoming General Assembly has been questioned. Do you feel that the prices agreed upon should cover the vendor prices for all members everywhere, members selling in BMC-sponsored towns, just in Black Rock Cove, or something completely different?
I would say that the purpose of the General Assembly is to set prices for the entire guild. As part of being the economic powerhouse, as Brickbat was saying, it is all about stability. If you know that you're going to a BMC store, you know you're going to get a fair price on goods. And so if we have fluctuations within those prices, then they don't know whether or not they're receiving a fair deal. So the General Assembly, and the purpose of the General Assembly, is to set prices for the guild. Now, we want to be the economic powerhouse in the New Britannia. At the same time, we want to be known for being fair. We don't want to sit there and exploit the population and take advantage of certain things. We want to sit there and offer goods that are at manageable rates. Now, this is where the purpose of the rules are going to sit there and say, hey, if someone chooses not to participate in the decision of the guild or go against the charter, that is where we have the judicial process in place to investigate, to sanction an individual, to find out where we're going. After that, I mean, we really are worried about actually just maintaining stability within the game. And I think Drake and Brickbat are also doing we're pretty much all on the same page, essentially.
And again, if you're done, please state that so that we know.
Done.
Alrighty, thank you, gentlemen. Quite the interesting answers from you all. And the questions are only going to get a little bit more interesting at this point. Okay, next question coming up. And we are now going to start this question off with Jack Frost. Question is, and we're going to give you up to 3 minutes on this one as well. Some things may need to be hidden from the guild as a whole. Give me an example of what should be hidden and one of what should have never be hidden when it comes to guild business from the membership.
If there's a person that is known to have scammed another member, that should be out there for the public to consume. That is something where it's in not just the guild's best interest, but as the awareness of the guild that it's behavior that's not going to be tolerated. So we want to make sure that we are participating on the up and up. Now, some things that need to be secret, you know what? Maybe some of our actual real-world financial stuff would, as far as what we've invested and how we're investing our money in the game, doesn't always have to be discussed with the general population. Then, let's see. So we've got some of the financials I think should be hidden from the general guild, although an overall sum, like in-game money, what we're doing with that should be discussed. But we do have several group-owned, player-owned towns within the guild. Those finances should remain with those groups. It shouldn't be general knowledge. Then, let's see, other issues. We have had several sniping discussions lately, and that is something that needs to be handled in private as well, so that way we can figure out what's going on, and that needs to go through the judicial process. And until a determination is made through the judicial process, that's when we can move forward. And I think I'll give up the rest of my time.
All right, thank you, sir. And Drake Adis, same question comes to you here. I'll repeat the question. Some things may need to be hidden from the guild as a whole. Give me an example of what should be hidden and one of what should never be hidden. This is relating to guild business.
I think that there's definitely a possibility that there should be certain discussions that take place, not necessarily judicially or legislatively. Our branches should be very open to the guild members, either in the case of coming up with new legislature on ways to share which direction we might be going with new laws, and also, of course, any decisions that might be handled with the judicial branch as far as player conduct, member dealings with one another. But I also believe that there are some executive decisions that need to be made behind the scenes where the process involved at getting to an endpoint might not need to be shared with the guild at large. And I'm not sure I could come up with any single example that might best encompass that. But yeah, I feel that there are certainly situations where that might be applicable. A lot of noise in the channel. I'll give up the rest of my time though.
Alrighty, we're just giving you that amount of time in case you need it. We don't want anybody to feel rushed, and I'm giving you a little time for these long questions just to think. Thank you for your answers. And we are going to move on to Brickbat. Brickbat, I'm going to pose the same question again. You'll have up to 3 minutes for your reply. Some things may need to be hidden from the guild as a whole. Give me one example of what should be hidden and one of what should not be hidden. And this pertains as to guild business only.
Well, as many of you may know, I served in the Navy for 20 years, 8 months, and 23 days. In that time, I spent much of it under classified situations where the details were not need to know for the public. I absolutely understand the need for operational security, OPSEC, or a need to know. Some things people don't need to know about the inner workings of the guild, but certainly there are things that should be public. Some examples: complete minutes or discussion notes or details from a branch meeting, either in the legislature, executive, or judicial branch. That should not be public. Potentially embarrassing information about a member, or maybe player punishment, if the judicial branch feels that it would be in the interest of the guild to keep their punishment on the down low. I have no problem with that. There's always situations where people need to know things, but there's also situations where it's better that they don't know. And, you know, absolutely, almost all of our leaders are excellent about this. They provide the information we need to know, and they keep the nuts and bolts of it, the details of how you make the pudding or whatever, keep that secret. You know, we don't want to know how they make that wonderful dinner that we get. And that's all the time I need.
All right, thank you, Brickbat. Okay, next question. This is another question for y'all just to give some thought to. And let me just read this over just to make sure that I've got it exactly. Okay. And we are going to start here with Brickbat. And again, I'm going to give you all up to 3 minutes for this one because this is a lengthy question, so please pay attention to the question. Brickbat, the question is, what are your opinions on changes to the BMC charter? Is it a fluid document able to change dynamically, or is it the bedrock of guild government which needs to be preserved? Are there any changes you would propose to the charter?
Oh, absolutely. It should be a fluid document. Just like the United States, for example, the Constitution did not delineate the Bill of Rights. That came along as amendments, first 10 amendments, Bill of Rights. The document is a fluid document and absolutely can be improved. That said, I would like to see mechanisms in place for the General Assembly to actually set prices. I would like to see a beefing up of the representative branch as far as I would really like to see the representatives of the guild be both informational sources and people that folks can go to with their concerns to pass that up to the leadership in the executive branch for execution. I really would like to see that. I would like to see the discussions and the ideas come in the representative branch and not be solely in the executive branch, which is primarily where it is now. That's all I have.
Alrighty, thank you. And we are going to come to Jack Frost. We're going to give you the same question, up to 3 minutes. What are your opinions on changes to the BMC charter? Is it a fluid document able to change dynamically, or is it the bedrock of guild government which needs to be preserved? Are there any changes you would propose to the charter? 3 minutes.
The charter is a living document. It is always evolving. It was never designed to be this is how it's going to be, this is what we're going to essentially have for the duration of the guild. As I said earlier in my initial comments, what I would like to see is 2 more officers from the judicial branch as well as 2 from the legislative branch, so that way we can have voices within officers' meetings. That also allows us to actually interact with the community at large and the guild at large. If you think about it, how many people in the audience actually knew that I was the deputy speaker? I am not considered an officer of the guild, and there has been meetings where I have been asked to take the seat where the Speaker of the House sits. And when we end up actually influencing government and changing as we grow, we need to be able to sit there and have a dynamic institution to where we can actually sit there and change laws or get rid of laws that are no longer applicable. Like was brought up earlier about changing how the military functions, which is more of a holdover from Ultima Online. It's not really applicable within Shroud of the Avatar. We need to change some things. We need to bring back some things. We need to evaluate every single aspect of the charter, and we need to figure out where we're going to stand with things. And we need to also have some representation from the guild at large as well. So I will take that as all of my time.
All right, thank you. And then we move on to Drake Adis. Drake, I'm going to repeat the question for you. What are your opinions on changes to the BMC charter? Is it a fluid document able to change dynamically, or is it the bedrock of guild government which needs to be preserved? Are there any changes you would propose to the charter? 3 minutes.
So I'm going to go ahead and piggyback on the excellent comments made by both Brickbat and Jack Frost. We can all agree that the Guild Charter is a fluid document designed to give us a framework for the operation of the Guild, and also to be a reference for the expected actions taken by the folks that have been assigned as leadership within the Guild. We do need to ensure that we can codify the representative nature of legislature in the Britannian Mining Company. I would absolutely, one of the founding reasons why I put my hat in to be considered for Speaker of the House is because I do firmly believe that we need to ensure there's representatives available for all of our guild membership. Anytime they're in-game, anytime they're participating with the community of the guild that we've created, I think that we need to be able to establish not just suggestions for changes, but two-way dialogue among members and representatives, where we can truly gauge feedback from the general membership into the way we lead and run the guild, and specifically into articles of law within the charter. Not every suggestion made by a member to a representative would need to be acted on, but we certainly need to have that two-way conversation in order to be able to gauge how well we're doing as a guild and as a large community within Shroud of the Avatar. The minute points have already been hit, of course. We need better representation within leadership meetings. We would love to see more organization within the way we handle our military branches for protection of our merchants and members. All that's been touched upon previously, either myself or by the two gentlemen up here on stage with me. And thank you.
Alrighty, and thank you, Drake. Alrighty, as we move on to the next question. This next question is going to have a question, and then depending on your answer, there will be a follow-up question. We are going to come back now and start with Jack Frost on this one. And I'm going to give you all 2 minutes on this question. And I will ask the follow-up question as part of the question. So just pay attention to the question as it is. Alright, starting with Jack Frost, 2 minutes. When new laws or changes to existing laws are made, do you feel that regular members should be included in the discussion leading up to this? And if your answer is yes, should there be any exceptions in your opinion?
Okay, the way that everything is done now, a general member can actually submit a draft proposal of legislation, and so yes, the general population and the general membership of the guild should and can currently send in to the legislative branch what they would like to see for a law. It just goes through all the way up to the Speaker of the House. Speaker of the House would actually then at a guild meeting say, is this going to be approved by the judicial? If the judicial approves it, then it is approved by or denied by Zeke. So there is already a process in place that allows general membership to have say in the laws. And I agree with allowing the general membership to actually have some influence on the creation of laws. The 2 laws that I was responsible for writing for were actually because of general membership concerns. And so I think I've answered both of those questions, so I will give up the rest of my time.
Alrighty, thank you. Okay, same question, Drake Adis. I will repeat the question for you. When new laws or changes to existing laws are made, do you feel that regular members should be included in the discussions leading up to this? And if yes, should there be any exceptions in your opinion?
Now, like I've said a couple of times now, I do believe we need to have two-way conversations between representatives and the guild population. So I feel like if a recommendation came in for a bill of law to a representative within our branch, if we didn't feel like that was fleshed out enough, if there weren't enough specifics, if it was over-specific, whatever the case might be, I think that should be a conversation between the representative and the senator that they're working with and the guild member or guild members that submitted that to be considered. I do also have seen and can appreciate that there are instances where a bill of law might be drafted in response to a situation that may have occurred in the guild, in the game, or just simply to clarify and shore up what might be a shortcoming in definitions or directives within the guild chart. I think that with a healthy set of all three branches, that we should absolutely be able to discuss a law before submitting it on to the next branch. That would give us an opportunity to make any changes, either grammatical or textual, to clarify any questions that might be in there. I think that it might be a good idea that once we do submit a new bill of law and it is approved all the way through the executive branch, that law is posted up on our guild forum, so that members can review it, so that everyone is perfectly familiar with any additions that are made as they happen to the charter. And that, of course, would be a great time to take feedback and concerns that we might be able to address now that a change has been made to the charter.
Alrighty, and right on, just a little over time there, but I'm not going to allow that. And moving on to Brickbat, same question. I'll read it out for you once again. When new laws or changes to existing laws are made, do you feel that regular members should be included in the discussions leading up to this? And if yes, should there be any exceptions in your opinion?
I agree primarily with what Jack and Drake have said, but I would add that absolutely, if a law is submitted from the representative branch, there will be discussion with the general populace via the representatives. The representatives would get the population, the membership's population, pulse for what they want, what they're interested in, how they would like improvements made in a specific area before we formulate a law. When a law is submitted from the executive branch or the judicial branch to us, there absolutely should be a mechanism in place for the branch, the representative branch, the legislature, to discuss it. Now, in our discussions inside the legislature branch, there will be situations where we would not poll the general population of the guild, but use our judgment. And then there will be situations where it's a serious change or something fundamental that we absolutely want to go out, discuss, get the pulse. Secrecy in the formation of laws is a bad idea. We should not stunt possibly great ideas from coming in because of some procedure, and we should change the charter to allow us to do that. That's all the time I need.
Alrighty, and thank you. Okay. Give me one moment here, gentlemen. I'm just looking to see if there's any questions that need to be fielded that we missed.
Blake asked a question in chat as well as in Twitch.
Yeah, I'm looking back in chat. Alrighty. I have two more questions here. we're going to start with Rick Bat, who answered the last question for us, and work our way back down the line here. Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. I'll give you 2 minutes on these questions, gentlemen. If you are elected, give me 2 things that you will strive to make sure it gets done, handled, or changed.
Well, I would absolutely, number one, want to beef up the representatives. I believe that the current 4 representative limit is insufficient. I think that I would like to see any 10 members to be able to nominate someone to be their representative, and then I would accept them as a representative, assign them to the appropriate senator, and that person could be the outlet for their questions, concerns, views, etc. That number may scale from 10 to 25 depending on how the membership works, but I would like to see that mechanism in the charter to allow me, if I was the Speaker of the House, to do that. That's number one. Number two, I would absolutely want to change the charter so that we can do this General Assembly. The General Assembly has so many benefits for the Guild. It will help set the prices for the game. It will help establish the BMC in our rightful place as the financial engine of the game. And I absolutely want that into the charter. Now, I understand that there's currently laws floating around about that, but because of our current outage at Speaker of the House position, they have not been addressed. That would certainly be my first order of business, to address that bill of law. And I yield back my time.
Alrighty, you were just about out there anyway. And we will come to Drake Adis. Drake Adis, I will repeat the question for you. If you are elected, give me 2 things that you will strive to make sure gets done, handled, or changed.
Absolutely. We will absolutely ensure that the Guild has representatives that they can go to within the judicial branch. That's not anything that I've seen in the last 7 months that I've been in here. Addressing that directly, of course. We also need to ensure that we don't find ourselves in the same position again. So absolutely, we need to clarify the responsibilities and the repercussions if the responsibilities are not filled. What we do here in leadership of the BMC is for the good of the Guild and for the good of all of our members. So absolutely, without a doubt, priority that we have is to not only make sure you're represented, but also to ensure that there are protections in place for Guild members, that if that representation were to fall short, that there is a way to address that directly without the delay that we've had this time. Thank you.
I'm going to have to agree with the other 2 gentlemen as far as the representation as well as the growth of the legislative branch. I also want to advocate for the additional positions within the officer corps, not just for the legislative, but also for the judicial branch, so that way we actually do have representation and not just officers, where the situation where we had our previous Speaker of the House absent essentially for the last 5 months, where nothing can happen because he was not in game for any of the meetings. Then from there, we need to also, there were some changes made to the guild charter that were not done with legally according to the guild charter. We need to bring those changes back and then actually go through the actual legislative process to remove those comments. After that, we need to go ahead and establish the I'm blanking. Our economic status within the world, as well as setting and stabilizing prices for ourselves and the guild. And then from there, we really need to focus on how do we represent the people and how do we bring them into participating within the guild. And thank you. Let's see. I personally like what Brickbat has had to say, as well as Drake. Between the two of them, I think my vote would swing towards Brickbat just because he has a little bit more experience. Then Drake already has a role within the executive branch, as well as a plateful with Avatar's Radio. And even though I spend more time talking with Drake, and I think of him as a better friend than Brickbat, who we've had a very spotty relationship together. And thank you.
Well, I would certainly consider Brickbat an excellent choice for the position of Speaker of the House. He has had a significant amount of time within the structure of the Britannian Mining Company. He has plenty of experience with the mercantile aspects of the multiplayer, the MMO that we play. Certainly Jack Frost also has a very good pulse on the community and our position within it. I would also consider him for Speaker of the House for that as well. He has been sitting in the Deputy Speaker position. Both of these are very fine gentlemen, and they share my opinion on the immediate changes and the long-term goals I think that we have for the Guild.
Both of the other candidates are excellent candidates, and I think that they would absolutely do an excellent job in the role of Speaker of the House. Both Jack and Drake have some excellent ideas. Many of them mirror my own, and they would absolutely capably fill this position.
Hello?
No closing statement?
Seeing vulnerable turkey.
It's the infamous jive turkey.
At this time, I'd like to thank everybody for their participation. Apparently, we definitely got some issues going on that we need to address inside the charter. Appreciate all the candidates. The polls are now open on the BMC website for the members to start selecting the candidate that they were most impressed with and that they would like to see in the Speaker of the House position. Apparently we have a little bit of restlessness going on, and so as such, here as the president of the BMC, let us wreak havoc. Debate is adjourned. Atto, sir, if you would.
Mind the delay.
Yes, sir.
I am waiting.
He's offline.
He's offline, or is he in Ghost?
He is. He's offline.
Alrighty, and I would like to thank everybody for joining us in the stream today. And the debate is declared adjourned by Zook Ezekiel Cooper. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. And welcome to the BMC.
Yes, that's nice.
We're all gonna die.
Oh, crap.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a camera angle on this here, folks.
Okay, maybe I got that.
Who invited the trolls?
Well, that's the guild for you. We got plenty of trolls.
That's matter of fact, it's torqued all the unbreakable.
And they're immune.
No, they're just a lot of hit points.
No, they're just very tough.
3 of them?
Gotta concentrate on one at a time.
Concentrate on the ugly one.
Yeah.
The one on stage.
Stage crasher.
Alright, Blake will answer your question. We feel all trolls should die in the Troll Wars.
I can get behind that.
Thank you, everyone, for giving me the opportunity to address the guild.
Yes, thank everybody.
Anyone got a rest?